Hi, I'm Greg Getz, and welcome to GetHerBackForGood.com. I've been receiving a lot of email lately regarding how to gauge if your ex wants to get back together and how far that you are within the breakup process. What I've put together here is a short video explaining a technique I have called the breakup barometer that allows you to accomplish this. What you're going to be able to do is gauge your breakup with bonded body language here today. Let's get started. Well, why not just ask her what's wrong and what's the matter and where you're at? Well, there's actually several different reasons why you don't want to do this. First and most prominent is she's not likely going to tell you what's on her mind. And if she does, it's not going to be anything good. She's not currently feeling great about the relationship, so she's probably going to just take that out on you. And you're just going to end up drudging up some bad feelings, which in turn could start a fight and just solidify her negative feelings about you. And you may ask, like, why does this happen? Well, the thing is that if you ask an individual a question, their mind is forced to answer. So if you ask what's wrong or what's my chance at getting back together with you, she's going to have no other option than to answer that. And if she's not feeling very good about the relationship right now, which she's likely not, she's not going to give you a very positive answer or an answer you're looking for. So what the breakup barometer does is it works on a subtextual level that actually clicks with your ex instantaneously and on an unconscious level. And it's going to save you any embarrassment or any emotional turmoil, and it's going to emotionally resonate with her because it's not going to be out front and belligerent. So what is the breakup barometer specifically? Well, as we all know, a barometer measures atmospheric pressure and is used to predict foul weather. So as the barometer goes up, there's more pressure and it's more likely that a storm is on the way. Well, in your breakup, there's often a lot of emotions, both good and bad, obviously. So the breakup barometer measures where the relationship is at right now in real time, and it's going to give you feedback instantaneously as where to proceed and how she's feeling about the relationship. Briefly, we're just going to go over what body language is because not a lot of people are aware of it. You probably have a vague concept of what body language is from television or from your experience, maybe a book you've read, but you can't really identify it and use it on a conscious level. A lot of people, when I talk about body language in all the books I've read, they always talk to me about the character Cal Lightman from Lie to Me or Dr. Sweets and Booth from Bones as that being body language, but there's actually a lot more to it and actually a lot of research with it. Wikipedia has body language as a form of nonverbal communication, and it consists of posture, your gestures, and eye movements. Because we're humans, we send and interpret these signals unconsciously, and this is the subtextual level that I referenced earlier. This is things below the grid, below your words. This form of communication actually is the largest portion of communication that there is. They've done tests and they show that about 55% of all communication that goes out or in when we're interacting with each other is actually 55% of it body language, and only the other 45% come from the words, and 30 of that 45%, 38 is actually the tone we use, and it's not actually the words. So you could be saying exactly the right thing, but if you're not using the right language, or the right body language and the right tonality, you're not getting your point across. Body language is a universal. It's between all countries and continents. It's a universal among our experience as a whole. More importantly is women actually pick up on body language 5 times more than men do. So if you can get this handled, you're going to be impacting your relationship on a much more macro and large level than you're going to be able to if you just use the perfect words. And how bonding comes into play is that anthropologists and sociologists and psychologists have done a lot of tests and a lot of extensive research regarding the phases that people go through as they bond and how it escalates from when you first meet until you become married and all that sort of things, through the courting process, you might call it. One of the key experiments that I like to quote here is Maslow, and if you're not getting the right amount of bonding, you can actually die. What they did is there were a bunch of babies in a nunnery that were orphans, obviously, and they were getting fed and clothed and they had their basic needs met, but they weren't getting held enough, so they ended up dying, and they couldn't figure out why they were dying. And this is just a key example of how bonding really plays into it from a young age until we're as you are an adult. Well, bonding is like body language as it is universal. You'll find it all over. The stages are exactly the same no matter where you go on the planet. So if you take, like I said, take the time to learn this, you're going to be maximizing the effect and your abilities to communicate with your ex. And as I said, this is actually a process. Bonding is a specific process that's universal, and that's here on the next slide. The steps of bonded body language are very specific. You'll ask, if you read different books, they'll tell you it's between 12 and 24 different actual stages. I've put here what I call the KISS method of them. Keep it simple, stupid, obviously. These are the most important ones throughout a relationship. The other ones can kind of be added in or subtracted. This is what you need to focus your time on. And the ones, and if you see there's actually 3 with stars, that's actually where we're going to be chunking down next. The actual breakup barometers, these 3 phases, and testing them. And you've obviously seen these before with your ex. You've been through these, and sometimes you actually hit these different bonding phases, 2 or 3 of them in one specific day or another. So how do you actually reconnect the breakup barometer? Let's get to the how-to of it. To reconnect, I want you to jump to the middle and move up. We're going to forget the first couple stages of the scale that I gave you on the last slide because they're not really relevant to actual bonding. They're good, and they are the key phases that start it all off, but if you want to know where you're at with your breakup, you're going to hit the middle here and start with hand-to-hand, and then you're going to escalate. And I'd recommend doing it in that process. I wouldn't start with the top and go down and have like a fallback. This isn't like like sales where you start with the big offer and then you keep going back that way. It doesn't work that way. If you get shut down the first time, you're likely done at that point, and you'll know where you're at with the relationship, but you're not going to be able to escalate. She shut you off at that bonding phase. Like I said, you don't actually just jump into bed. You don't go blindfolded to a club, jump into bed, and find a girl. It doesn't work that way. There's a necessary process that everybody goes through. So, because you've already got the first couple down, we're going to jump right to hand, and this is the lowest level. If she rejects you at this level, she's really not interested in getting back together with you, unfortunately. That doesn't mean you're out of the game, obviously, but it just means you're going to have to invest a lot more time and energy into this relationship, and that might not be something you're willing to do. Next comes hand-to-body, and this is non-sexual touching. You're not going to try to touch her breast or anything like that. This, like on the shoulders, is often the key places that I would talk about. The shoulders, the upper arm, that sort of area. And if you can get her to, if you can get to this level, if you can escalate from hand-to-hand to hand-to-body, you're a lot more likely to be able to get back together with your ex. And specifically, I've found that people can get back to their ex in less than 2 months if they can get to this phase. Usually it's between 2 weeks and 2 months if you're at this phase. And if you can actually move to the next level, hand to face, you'll be able to get back together with your ex within a week to a month. That's the average that I said. Nothing is pinpoint, can't be exact because each situation's a little bit different, but that's just kind of a general kind of a scale for you. And here's just some interesting ways. I'll give you some quick examples. For hand-to-hand to escalate, you could grab the same thing. That's a quirky nonsense that your girlfriend always saw in those chick flicks when she was a youngster. The other one is shaking hands, and I love this one. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail regarding it, but this is what's considered a social mores or norm, and it's you can almost always get to this level if you use that. Next is hand to body. This is where you actually guide her in a door or pat her in the back or pick something off of her. That's a very easy ways to do that. And hand to face, the highest level where you're going to be gauging this, is where you actually move hair from her face, or if she was to fix your tie, or if you remove food from her face. That's the exact level that's at. And again, this is the highest level you're going to jump into. A little common sense goes a long way regarding this. Don't start at the top. Don't run up to her. If you saw on the last slide, genital to genital, walking up naked to somebody isn't going to get them to like you, unfortunately, or else we'd all walk around naked all the time. So try not to be a creep. Don't go for the kiss right off the bat. If she moves in to give you a hug, take the hug, obviously, but don't go in for the kiss. You're gonna escalate it and be weird. Kind of let her act that. If she's gonna initiate any interaction, make sure that you're meeting her right where she's at. Try to act natural and don't be a creep. Like I said, running up with your genitals slung out is not the way to get